are more trees down, so there's still a lot of cleanup and a lot of issues. But as I walk around this tree here, this is a good time to remind drivers to be careful as you see drivers exit. They want to make sure that they are paying close attention because, again, this tree is blocking some visibility. This mall is now a crime scene, so when you drive up to the mall, you're going to run into these cement blockades. These are actually on every single entrance to the mall. They say that video of Jacob Blake being...
Wow, that's our next guest. She's a 5-time Emmy nominee and an Emmy award-winning journalist, and she's news anchor for the WTVJ TV, the NBC affiliate in Miami. Joining us is none other than Cherney Amhara. Good morning, Cherney. How are you doing?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much. Man, I'm watching you do those reports, and listen, purpose is something else. You are made for this. What made you decide that, listen, I want to do media?
Yeah, so it's actually a long story. So, I mean, I think there's a combination of things. The first thing I would say is my parents, you know, as immigrants in the United States, my parents watch the television to kind of understand the new country that they're in, the new neighborhood, the new place. So for me, as a kid, you know, I'm watching it when I actually moved from Jamaica when I was about 6 years old. So when I came back to the States, I would watch it as well. And I'm kind of like getting familiar with the news industry, and I'm kind of admiring these news anchors that I'm seeing on television as well. So I think that's kind of what set it in motion without me thinking it, kind of subconsciously. But then later in life in college, I actually just took an internship because my university, they wanted us to do internships and things that are not related to our major, just to broaden our horizon. And that's what I did. And I took an internship with a journalism, like a company. And that's kind of the real exposure that I got with journalism. And I really just fell in love, and I really wanted to tell those stories and make an impact in the community. So
yeah, there's so many journalists in the U.S. So to be Emmy nominated and to win an Emmy award is not something to scoff at. What do you think makes your reporting so impactful that it's been recognized time and time again?
Yeah, so I definitely have been able to have some incredible stories. A lot of my nominations were from breaking news, some of the stuff that you played earlier. My Emmy win, however, it was an in-depth report on Las Vegas gangs, so Las Vegas gang violence. So for me, I think I had a little bit of a deeper passion with that. A young guy I grew up with, he ended up getting involved in gang life. And, you know, I think for me, the fact that we grew up together and the fact that, you know, we come from the same place, but then we took very different paths, that gave me a deeper passion to kind of really invest and investigate, like what went wrong here. And the fact that, yes, this is a problem we have in the United States, in Las Vegas, but these kids all come from the same area. So where did they go astray? And so looking into that, I think that's really what, I don't know, the passion behind it, I guess.
Yeah, very important work. So you love your Jamaican roots. I mean, you tell everyone, listen, I'm Jamaican. Talk to me a little bit about that, because one of the things you say in your article is that your grandmother instilled great work ethic in you. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with the Jamaican family, obviously, people put education first. It's so vital, so important, and that's something that has always been instilled in me. I was lucky enough I honestly feel like I went to school in art and prep. That's where I started my education in Kingston. So I think from that, you know, that kind of gave me a different foundation that helped me survive and really thrive here in the U.S. So my grandmother, she was always about that, like always, you know, making sure that I put my education first, and I was speaking properly, and I spoke like I was educated, and, you know, never shied away from, again, my Jamaican heritage, because I think that's kind of hard sometimes too. I grew up in California, so unlike some other, my cousins that maybe grew up in the United States, grew up in like South Florida or New York, where there's a bigger Caribbean population, where I grew up, that just wasn't there. So sometimes it's hard to, you know, you have a Jamaican household in your house, but then you step outside and you're in the United States, you want to assimilate. Sometimes you forget certain things, but you know, my grandma, she was always in my life from day one, and always instilled that in me. And I always wanted to work hard and work smart and make sure that, you know, her sacrifices and the sacrifices of my mom, who left her country, were not in vain. So
Yeah, you're very big on diversity, and I find that amazing. I mean, Jamaica, we say out of many, one people, and I think we're one of those nations that embraces diversity. You embrace all communities. You've done a lot of work with the Hispanic community. Why?
yeah, so for me, I mean, my family in itself, right? Out of many one people, just in the same way, my family unit. We have Black Jamaicans, we have Chinese, we have Spanish in my own family, and you know, this is a community. The Hispanic community in the United States is a strong community, and sometimes in certain cities they're ignored. Their voices are completely just not relevant.
Yeah.
And that for me, that's crazy, because this is a community and they matter, and they matter outside of just the crime that happens in certain areas, or the only time you see a person who is Black or brown on television, they're in handcuffs. That's inappropriate, because that's not what the community is about. So for me, I think it's really important to showcase everything, all the good that's happening, and the contributions that these communities are making.
Cherney, absolutely proud of you. We are so proud to say you are Jamaican. Continue to tell those stories and to speak out for those who are unable to. And we wish you all the best in what I know is going to be a continuously great career.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, 5-time Emmy nominee, an Emmy Award-winning journalist and news anchor, Cherney Amhara. Still to come, we hear all the details about the National Fisheries Association campaign. But first, here is News in 5.